We go back now to our interview with CEO Ebrahim, talking about global economic developments.
Adam, we're going to talk about South Africa in just a second. Let's talk about, it's interesting, we talk about outflows of money, but there's also outflows of people. In a global world that we have, people come, people go. The issue of immigration in countries, make sense of that to the global economy.
We spoke about the global economy and the globe being a small place. We're so interconnected with the internet and traveling. So people people have always migrated. There's been migration east, west, north, south, and reversing over time. And what happens is people move for very many reasons. They move because either a lack of opportunities in their own hometown, or greater opportunities in another place, or alternatively, they see a skill that they have in short supply, so they're meeting a need in another country. And so countries that have encouraged immigration have actually grown much faster. And I'm going to put immigration into a couple of categories: entrepreneurial, trading, business immigration, and professional skills immigration. They all have the same driver. You're bringing in fresh talent, fresh capital, fresh entrepreneurship, fresh professionals. You're increasing the supply of very dynamic, hardworking, skilled people who will drive an economy. And so you're increasing the supply side of the economy. If you increase the supply side of the economy, the actual prices reduce. That means economic growth will increase very dramatically. And countries that stand out from that perspective are the US and the UK, amongst others. And then look at Dubai. Dubai is made up, it's an immigrants. Yeah. And that place is just growing, and they're pulling the resources. Everybody wants to be there. It creates a dynamism.
Okay, so let's confirm this. Countries with high rates of immigration, controlled immigration, I mean, it's not just loosely done, right? In fact, benefit greatly. Yes. Countries that don't, why then is there still sometimes in some regions negativity towards this whole concept of immigrations coming here to take our jobs and leaving us with nothing?
It is not our jobs, because we're not taking advantage of it. It's our jobs if we take advantage of it, if we work hard, if we have the skills, we have the professionalism, if we have the entrepreneurship, then it's our jobs.
Are we not taking, in the South African context, are we not taking advantage of immigrants?
Are we not taking advantage of the jobs, which immigrants are doing? Fantastic, because they're increasing the growth rate. So if you look at, we have one major category of immigrants in the country. We need a second, so we have that entrepreneur trader, but we don't have the professional immigrants. So the entrepreneur trader, your Pakistani or Indian or whatever trader that goes into the townships, they're actually doing so phenomenally well in the townships. But interestingly now, if you drive through all our major cities in Cape Town, in the Boer Cup, I was driving past there 10, 11 o'clock at night, a brightly lit shop, open at 11 o'clock at night, with a wide variety of products, so making it easy, making it convenient, making it affordable, and bringing dynamism.
Changing the rules, effectively. Open at 11 at night.
It's not changing the rules.
Changing the rules in terms of what was considered acceptable or the norm before.
No, it wasn't accepted as the norm before. It is called laziness, a lack of entrepreneurship, a lack of vision. And so when you have borders that keep people out, you can be lazy and do all the things, and then your economy slows down. These people are creating, sometimes you want milk at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and you say, where can you get it? Okay, you can maybe get it at the garages, but now they're in every little corner, and it's bright and it's safe, and they're creating so many jobs. They're creating, you know what? If you look at what's happened in 10 years, they're now driving the smart cars. They're moving into the smart homes. And what we're doing as ordinary South Africans, we're complaining about corruption and complaining about the lack of electricity and complaining. And they're saying, wow, what a land of milk and honey.
So that's an interesting one. The average, and we are generalizing, the average South African would think that this is a land of sort of closed opportunity and sort of robbed dreams. And I am generalizing. You're saying an immigrant, not just in this country, but in most other countries, would always see it as this land of opportunity. of milk and honey because they want to excel. So they see gaps that we don't see.
I would say that other people don't see. If you follow Oasis and you follow me and you follow my family and what we've said over the last 20 years, 18 years at Oasis and all our professional lives, this is the greatest place in the world, other than two places, Makkah and Medina. Okay. Otherwise, Cape Town is the most fantastic place. South Africa is the most fantastic place. Beautiful weather, great location, seas that provide food, land that provides food, sunshine that provides health, and population that is growing. I watched a movie the other day, at one of these end of the world movies, and the floods came, and guess where the survivors pitched up?
Don't say they landed up in Cape Town.
They pulled in, and you saw Table Mountain, and the smiles on our faces. And you know what? It's a fantastic place. Let's get focused on taking advantage of the opportunity, which will mean greater growth. And anybody who else wants to come in and grow this economy, welcome them. And we will have a much safer, happier place.
So you would encourage immigration. You think it adds value to a country. Good time to talk about the fact that you've mentioned Cape Town, whether it's Camps Bay or wherever else. I can't remember all the names. You can enjoy that if you have the money. So what then is the state of the South African economy?
South Africa is different to most places, and Cape Town is different to most places. It's natural. Walking up the mountain requires no money. Going to the beach requires no money. If you have to go to the theatre, if you have to go to the malls, yes, you require money. The South African economy, and that's the beauty, the baraka of South Africa and the baraka of Cape Town, it is a great place for everybody. It's not exclusive to anybody. And the South African economy, in the short term, is going through some tough times. And I mentioned that they could be part of the Fragile 2, Fragile 5. And a lot of that's to do with the fact that we're commodity exporters. We most probably, our wages are too high in relation to what we're spending on production. We're trying to keep great people out of the country rather than welcome them in. And then, but all we need is a bit of leadership. In the short term, there's electricity shortages, labor, the labor capital politics is kind of disjointed. We need to have an accord where we say our workers are our brothers and sisters, our fathers and our mothers and our kids. So let's give them dignity and respect.
Do unions stifle economic growth in the South African context?
I'm not going to answer that question because I have a different approach. I believe that if we treat all our people fairly, like we try to treat ourselves, like others to treat us, then we're going to look after each other. We would not need all these confederations that are looking after narrow interests rather than broad interests. So we need a social consensus, a social compact, and then we need people to lead those social compacts with a view of unity, a view of growth, a view of togetherness, which we don't have. We have suspicion and all sorts of things, and we need to start off with trust, integrity, and common vision, and then we'll grow this economy.
But you would agree, having said I won't answer the question about or unions, that there is an element of distrust between competing parties, between government on the other hand, between big business, between so-called capitalists, and between the labor market who perceives that they are being, if not used, and certainly abused.
I think you've got to go back to your economic model and about integrity and trust, and whether we actually want to grow this economy, want to grow society's wealth. And if we grow society's wealth, and that's the vision of Oasis, and that's my vision and the vision of my directors, if we make sure that society is growing, we make sure that the poorest, less fortunate people are looked after, we have a more stable economy, a growing economy. And if you have a stable economy, growing economy, guess what happens? Our wealth grows, we get more jobs, and it becomes a really wonderful place. And so I think we don't fall into the school of division. Islam is about unity. And if we follow our Islamic principles. It's about integrity. It's about brotherhood and sisterhood. And it's about nation building. And if you focus on all of those things, then all of this distrust and all of this disunity and all of this dysfunctionalism, which destroys jobs, destroys growth, and it destroys prosperity, will be eradicated.
Okay, so quick one as a last point. You said let's not focus on division, which I think I'll play with the words here. From how do we move from division to multiplication? And I'm talking about viewers who are interested in multiplying their wealth. Just a quick one-line advice. I have a sense we'll talk about it in detail some other time.
Firstly, one of the biggest things about multiplication is the simple natural multiplication: make the ummah bigger. Because if you make the ummah
in
bigger,
the literal sense,
yes, then make the ummah, and I'm talking about the broad ummah, right? Make them more educated, right? Make them happier. Make sure the poorest members of our ummah is kind of looked after. Make sure there's integrity, honesty, and that we actually looking after the total ummah. Then we'll all kind of have unity, focus, functionality, and prosperity.
You are tuned into the Oasis Focus on Finance show, demystifying and simplifying the world of finance. We'll be back after this break.